Whatever the mind holds, and the heart truly believes, it shall bring forth. Dream vast, act vaster. This is the secret path to the endless spirit within. A sacred battle unfolds even now, not outside you, but deep in your own lodge. It is a silent war, a dance between the voice of the ancestors that whispers of your true greatness, and the timid wind that bids you stay small, stay safe in the shadows. Each morning, you awaken on this ancient battlefield. Whether you know it or not, the story of your life is being carved by the choices you make, or those you shrink from. In the quiet of your own spirit, the deepest sorrow is not reaching for the high peak and missing. It is aiming for the valley floor and finding it. Being common is not born of failing, but of fear cloaked as good sense. It is when the spirit's potential bows before the ease of the camp. And in that surrender, the sacred dreams are buried. But hear me, kin, the moment you choose to dream vast, truly, fearlessly, unapologetically vast, you awaken something ancient within you. You remember what your soul knew before the world taught you to doubt. You are not here just to breathe. You are here to grow, to stretch the edges of what you believe is possible, to touch the sky of your potential and then break through it. You were not born for smallness. You were not carved to repeat yesterday. You are the inheritor of a mind that can weave reality itself. If only you possess the courage to trust its power. Think of the one who chased light, Thomas Edison. 40 winters of falling behind him, yet his spirit held the knowing that he could call light from wire and fire. 10,000 times the universe spoke no, but he needed only one yes, and it came, for he refused to shrink, refused to yield his vision to the judgment of lesser spirits. That is the face of a vast dream. It is not comfort, it is not cold logic, it is not the applause of the many. It is a burning within, it is a vision. It is daring to believe in the unseen until it stands before you. But thought alone is not enough. Vision is the spark, but action is the beating drum. Dreams wither without bold movement. The Great Spirit does not reward what could be. It rewards what is done. It rewards the stubborn heart, the focused path, and the relentless stride that separates the legendary ones from those forgotten by the wind. Andrew Carnegie did not become the wealthiest man by wishing he became it, by acting with a fierce, directed fire. And every step was guided by a purpose so deep, failure became a forgotten shadow. He did not merely walk through life, he charged, eyes fixed on something greater than comfort, greater than approval, greater than safety. He understood what most never grasp. Greatness is not given, it is built, choice by choice, sun up to sundown. In the hours when no one sees, in the moments when surrendering would be easy, in the deep dark before the dawn. So, if you seek to unlock the secret of endless spirit, begin here. Release the knowing that your path now is your fixed destiny. Your circumstances are not chains, they are the raw material of the earth, and you are the craftsman. Your mind is the forge, and belief is the sacred fire. But true belief is not just speaking words or gazing at your reflection. It is a knowing in your very bones that defies logic, resists fear, and moves forward even when the world calls you a wanderer. Walt Disney was told he lacked vision. Henry Ford, that he knew nothing of the moving carriage. Oprah Winfrey, that she was not meant for the talking box. Yet here we walk, living in the realities they refused to stop believing in. So ask yourself, are you living a life shaped by conviction or by convenience? For the truth is this, no other will believe in your vision until you do, not with a hesitant breath, not in secret, but so fiercely, so openly, that it shifts the very air around you, that it flows into every word you speak, every step you take, every action you make. This is the power of clear sight. You must know what you desire with such precision that the very thought of it sends energy through your spine. Vague paths lead to vague destinations, but clarity is a sharp blade. It cuts through distraction, through doubt, through delay. When your path is clear, you become a force of nature. You cease asking for permission and begin carving trails where none existed. But clarity does not descend like a lightning strike. It is called forth, forged in the quiet of your own heart, born of daring to ask the questions most are too timid to face. What is it I truly seek? Who must I become to claim it? And what price am I willing to pay? These are not easy questions, but they are sacred. For purpose is not found, it is built. Built from the ashes of your excuses, constructed through the fire of your sacrifice, and sealed in the sweat of consistent action. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, desire is a ghost. It haunts you with what could be, but never brings it into form. Discipline is not about doing what brings joy. It is about doing what is necessary. It is about acting whether your spirit feels inclined or not, because your feelings are like the fleeting wind, but your future is like the eternal stars. Discipline is what calls you from your bed when it bids you stay. It is what guides your hand when comfort whispers, rest a while. It is what separates the dreamers from the doers. And it is in the doing, in the daily, deliberate, disciplined doing, that momentum is born. Do not underestimate the strength of small, steady steps. Mountains are moved one handful of earth at a time. Oceans are crossed one stroke at a time. And legacies are built one brave choice at a time. What you do in secret, the world will one day celebrate openly if you do not surrender. So act faster. Think as if the universe awaits your commands, for it does. Speak with the voice of deep knowing. Move with the posture of true power. Stop trying to be realistic. Realism is the slow poison of the defeated. The world was not changed by those who stayed realistic. It was changed by madmen with sacred vision and the discipline to bring it forth. Every moment you hesitate, you surrender power. Every moment you delay, you forfeit momentum. And momentum, once it is yours, is the closest thing to true magic you will ever know. Momentum multiplies effort. It strengthens belief. It makes the impossible feel inevitable. But it comes only to those who move and keep moving. So stop waiting for the perfect path. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for approval. You do not need more knowing. You need more courage. You need to decide right now that your dream is worth the discomfort, that your potential is worth the sacrifice, that the life waiting beyond your fear is worth stepping into. And if you still think small, let me remind you, every great movement in the stories of our people began with one who chose to dream vast, one who refused to accept the boundaries set by their land, their beginnings, or their past, one who believed in a future no other could see. That one is you, and your time is now. When you finally choose to live without apology for the size of your dreams, something ancient shifts. The world begins to adjust to your rhythm. The Great Spirit does not respond to need. It responds to deep intention, bold, unshakable, unwavering intention. If you come unsure, it will mirror your uncertainty. But if you arrive with a soul aflame, it will conspire in ways you cannot foresee, cannot count, cannot command. Paths will open, helping hands will appear, and the way will unfold. Not because it was always there, but because you refused to walk as if it wasn't. But make no mistake, the path is never smooth. It is carved by your own hands, and you will bleed for it. You will be tested, not once, not twice, but relentlessly. You will be misunderstood, doubted, mocked, and ignored. But that is the price of true greatness. That is the toll asked of every spirit that dares to rise above the common path. Think of Abraham Lincoln, born in a simple lodge, taught by himself, repeatedly defeated in the tribal gatherings, and burdened by a deep sadness. But he carried a purpose too heavy to lay down. And when the storm of civil war split his nation, he stood firm, refusing to bend. He thought vast, he acted vaster, and because of him, a nation was reborn. Resilience is not just a trait, it is a choice, a decision made in the deep night when all feels as if it crumbles, to rise anyway, to stand again, to take another step when your legs cry out in protest. And this is where most surrender, right at the edge of transformation. For before the breakthrough, there is always a breaking down. Before the dawn, the night deepens. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Life will not grant you greatness without first asking you to prove you are ready for it. So if you feel stretched, if the weight feels too much, as if all fights against you good, that means you are in the forge. That means your next level is being shaped. Do not ask for it to be easier. Ask to be stronger. Do not run from the challenge. Run toward it with all your being, because within the challenge is your evolution. Within the struggle is the seed of your future strength. You must become a student of your own hard times. Learn from them. Let them show you what comfort never could, your true capacity, your sharp edge, your unbreakable core. And as you grow stronger, you must also grow wiser. For the journey to endless spirit is not just about raw power. It is about seeing with inner eyes, about vision. You must learn to see beyond what stands before you. You must develop the eyes of faith, the ability to gaze at a barren field and see a harvest, the ability to look at a broken story and see a teaching, the ability to look at yourself, not as you are now, but as you could be. This is not a dream, this is mastery, for vision is not passive, it is an active force. When held, it draws you forward like the pull of the earth. It shapes your choices, your ways, your very being, and when it becomes clear, so too does your path. Most people walk blindly, not because their eyes are closed, but because they lack true vision. They see only what is directly before them. They react instead of create. They survive instead of lead, but not you. You are not here to be held captive by circumstance. You are here to bring it forth. You are not here to be tossed by the winds of chance. You are the wind. You are the storm. And when you walk in the power of your vision, the world clears a path. Now, let us speak of purpose. For if vision is the distant land, purpose is the fire that moves you. Purpose is not found in a task or a name. It is not given by the many, nor discovered in outward achievements. Purpose is within. It is born the moment you choose to live for something greater than yourself. It is the reason you refuse to surrender, the why behind every act, the fire beneath every sacrifice, and without it, success becomes an empty victory. Wealth, recognition, they mean nothing if they are not tied to something meaningful, something enduring, something eternal. Look at Martin Luther King Jr. He did not walk the streets for applause. He did not speak for approval. He lived and died with a mission burning in his chest to awaken the spirit of a nation. His purpose was his anchor, and because he stood firm in it, the earth trembled beneath his feet. What is your purpose? What would you willingly die for? And, more importantly, what are you willing to live for? Because once you truly know that, once you feel it in your bones, you become unstoppable. You stop asking, how long will this take? And begin declaring, however long it takes, I am here. That is when the true shift happens. That is when your work becomes a sacred ceremony. Your pain becomes power. Your life becomes a story for generations. But here is what most forget. Purpose without gratitude turns to a swollen ego. Action without quiet reflection leads to burning out. Power without humility corrupts the spirit. So you must learn to walk with both fire and grace, with both bold aim and deep appreciation. You must learn to be hungry, but never empty, driven, but never disconnected. Gratitude is the sacred herb that sustains the climb. It transforms every step, no matter how steep, into holy ground. When you begin to see challenge as a gift, opposition as a chance, and every delay as a divine unfolding, you stop fighting life and begin creating with it. For life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And the more grateful your heart, the more power flows through you. Every breath is a reminder that you are still in the game, still chosen, still capable of rewriting your story. So give thanks, not just for what you hold, but for what you are becoming. Give thanks, not just for the blessings, but for the bruises that taught you to rise. Give thanks, because gratitude sharpens your vision. It aligns your energy and calls forth more of what you are ready to receive. And when life throws you into chaos, when things stray from your path, when the storms rage and the way vanishes beneath your feet, adapt. For adaptability is the superpower of those who rise. The ability to bend without breaking, to shift with precision, to remain rooted in purpose but flexible in how you walk the path. Charles Darwin did not say the strongest survive. He said, the most adaptable do. The traders, the artists, the makers, those who last, those who thrive, they are not the ones with the best initial plan. They are the ones who kept moving when the plan crumbled. The ones who said, this is not the end, it is a new direction. The ones who said, the obstacle is not in the way, it is the way. Because every time life says no, it is asking you, how deeply do you desire this? And your answer cannot be mere words, it must be action. Relentless, adaptable, purpose-driven action. Every moment of hesitation is a silent agreement with the common path. And every bold action is a sacred promise to your future self. A future where your name is remembered, not because it was spoken often, but because it held deep meaning. Legacy is not fame. It is not fortune. Legacy is the imprint of courage, left behind when comfort is no longer an option. And that legacy begins, not in grand moments, but in the quiet decision to keep going. When every fiber of your being tells you to stop, let them rest while you rise. Let them laugh while you build. Let them doubt while you become undeniable. For every great tribe began in obscurity, every revolution started in silence, and every spirit that ever left its mark on this earth had one thing in common: they acted when others waited. It is easy to wait, to tell yourself that tomorrow will be the day, that the conditions will soon be perfect. But perfection is a myth, created to lull the many. There is no perfect time, no ideal setting, there is only now. Now is where the brave are forged. Now is where true power dwells. Now is where your story changes. If you dare to move, and in that movement, you will discover one of life's deepest truths. Knowing is nothing without doing. Learning without action is a beautifully crafted cage. A mind filled with brilliance, but empty of action, is like a library consumed by fire, full of potential, but lost to the wind. So study, yes, learn always, but above all, act. The world does not remember thinkers who never acted. It remembers those who were bold enough to turn their knowing into movement, their ideas into pathways, their dreams into reality. Henry Ford was not a genius in the usual way. He was not the most schooled, but he was a master of putting things into motion. While others debated what was possible, he built mighty factories. While others awaited agreement, he reshaped industries. Ford thought vast, not just in ideas, but in systems, in reach, in impact, and then he acted vaster, with unwavering conviction. So if you wish to dream vast, begin by acting vaster than your current mood, vaster than your fear, vaster than the small voice that bids you play it safe. And here is the strange dance of it all. The vaster you act, the smaller your fears become. Action shrinks fear. Doubt grows in the quiet. But the moment you move, truly move, with clear intent and fierce purpose, fear loses its hold. You stop feeding it, you begin to starve it, and in that hunger, it begins to wither. That is how confidence is built, not by being perfect, but by showing up imperfectly, again and again, until your courage outweighs your doubt. And this, my friend, is not just empty words. This is how transformation unfolds. This is how lives change, not in sudden flashes of lightning, but in the steady drumbeat, the rhythm of consistent, bold, intentional living. Do not mistake consistency for ease. Consistency is not comfortable, it is not glamorous, but it is where true magic takes root. Every master was once a beginner who refused to lay down their tools. Every legend was once unseen, until they were not. And what made the difference? They did not stop. They did not stop when it became hard. They did not stop when no one honored their efforts. They did not stop when the fruits did not come swiftly enough. They did not stop because they were not chasing a feeling, they were chasing a destiny. That is how you must live, not for the fleeting joy, but for the path laid before you. Not for the applause, but for the alignment of your spirit. Not for what you gain, but for who you become. And who you become is forged in the fire of choices most will not make, in the discipline most will not hold fast to, in the faith most will not carry through the storm. But you were not born to be most hard, you were born to become extraordinary, and the blueprint is already within you. It has always been within you. It just needed to be awakened. So ask yourself, when did you stop expecting greatness from your own spirit? When did you begin to call dreams unrealistic? Who told you that too vast was something to fear? Because the truth is, someone convinced you to make your soul smaller. Someone told you to shrink, to dim your light, to aim lower, and they lied. You were born with a mind capable of shaping worlds. You were born with fire, with grit, with the same raw earth as the giants of history, the same clay from which Lincoln, Carnegie, Ford, and Disney were formed. And what they did, you can do. What they became, you can become. Not because it is easy, but because it is possible. And possibility is the very breath of transformation. But remember, transformation is not a flick of a switch. It is a process, a wild, beautiful process. The shedding of old skin, the passing of excuses, the daily burying of your former self in pursuit of something greater. And it hurts, but that pain is sacred. That pain is the knowing that you are evolving, that you are no longer content with a lesser version of your spirit. So let it hurt. Let it break you open. Let it make room for something stronger, truer, more aligned with the power you have always held. The world does not need another echo, another shadow of someone else's life. The world needs you, fully expressed, fully awakened, fully aflame. That is the secret to endless spirit. Not waiting to be chosen, but choosing yourself, again and again, with every action, with every word, with every breath. To dream vast is to declare, this world will feel my presence. To act vaster is to proclaim, and this world will be better because of it. But this is not about a swollen ego, it is about responsibility. You have been given potential that most never touched, and that comes with a sacred duty, to honor it, to awaken it, to live it out loud. For when you rise, others rise. When you walk in your power, you awaken others to their own. When you refuse to surrender, you give permission for others to begin. This is how movements are born, not from great gatherings, but from individual decisions made in silence that echo across generations. So if you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you have been wondering if your dream is too vast, the answer is simple. It is not vast enough. And if you have been doubting whether you have what it takes, let me make it clear, you do. You always have. And now you must act like it. No more shrinking to fit inside the comfort of those who stopped believing in their own dreams. No more apologizing for your deep desire, as if it were a burden. No more waiting for permission to claim your power. Because the truth is, the world will never give you the green light. Not the world that clings to the common path. Not the world that fears anything it cannot control. You want permission? Gaze into your own reflection. That is the only elder, the only authority you will ever need. The one who brought forth the light bulb, Thomas Edison, stumbled 10,000 times. 10,000. Do you feel the weight of that? Most surrender after 2, maybe 3 falls. Edison, he treated falling like the very air he breathed, like fuel for his fire. He did not chase success. He stalked it, hunted it, wrestled with it, until it had no choice but to yield. He thought vast, but more importantly, he acted relentlessly. Because vast thinking without vast action is just a pleasant dream, a deception. It feels good, it sounds good, but it changes nothing. What separates the extraordinary from the forgotten is that the extraordinary move, they build. They do not merely sit in their lodges, sketching ideas. They take those whispers and shape them into empires. They step into the open, covered in fear, bruised by doubt, but with eyes fixed on the sacred prize. You wish to become one no other can ignore. Then do the thing everyone else avoids. Embrace discomfort like a loyal companion. Awaken earlier than your excuses. Show up for your own life, as if it is the only chance you have, because it is. Listen, you have no time for self-pity. You do not have the luxury of waiting for inspiration. If you are truly serious about greatness, then discipline must become your sacred path. Discipline is not punishment, it is power. It is the bridge between who you are now and who you are becoming. Every choice you make is either feeding your future or stealing from it. Every morning you choose to linger in bed. You vote for the version of you that never rises, that never builds a damn thing. But every time you rise, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, you cast a vote for the future legend sleeping inside you. Do not let the world tell you that you are mad for being consumed. You should be consumed. You must be consumed, because the common path does not demand this deep burning. Greatness demands it, and this deep burning is just love on fire. It is what happens when your purpose sets your soul aflame. When you are no longer content with what is expected and begin to do what is necessary. It means giving up distractions. It means being misunderstood. It means choosing enduring glory over fleeting pleasure. It means waking with a war drum in your chest and going to bed with a sacred blueprint in your mind. And it means doing it again tomorrow, and the day after that, and again, until your actions become an avalanche, until your ways become a hurricane, until the momentum is so strong that the world can no longer ignore the force you have become. But in all this, do not lose your soul. You must never trade your true self for achievement, because true greatness is not just about winning. It is about how you win, with integrity, with humility, with purpose. You do not rise by stepping on others. You rise by lifting yourself so high that your very presence becomes a ladder for others to climb. Be the one who triumphs with honor. Be the one who builds without burning bridges. Be the one who carries fire but walks with grace. And when the weight presses, as it will, when the load becomes heavy, when the critics grow loud, when the voices of doubt try to steal your mind, return to your why. Because your why is your compass. It is what grounds you when storms rage and illusions tempt you. It is the reason you chose to rise in the first place. The reason you refused to settle. The reason you chose to dream vast and act vaster. And never forget, resistance is a sign you walk the right path. No one strikes at the silent. No one criticizes the unseen. But when you begin to break free, when you start to glow with purpose, you will become a mirror. And people will either be inspired or intimidated. Some will try to pull you back down to the level they understand. Let them. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be undeniable. Every great leader, every icon, every spirit who reshaped the old ways, they were mocked before they were revered. Walt Disney was told he lacked vision. They said his ideas were foolish. He faced ruin many times, but he did not stop. He built a world where dreams live. Why? Because he refused to let the smallness of others define the boundaries of his belief. So do not let someone who has given up on their own spirit talk you out of yours. And do not dare betray your own sacred gift just to be accepted by those who have made peace with the common path. You were not built for the middle. You were built for the summit. But the summit is not a place you reach once. It is a state of being you hold daily. It is not one great leap. It is 1,000 relentless steps taken in silence, long before any other sees. So walk the path. Stumble if you must. Crawl if necessary. But move. Always move. Because the only true falling is stagnation. If you still have breath in your lungs, if you still have fire in your heart, then you are still in the battle. And every day you rise, you are rewriting your destiny. So what? Will you choose? Will you lay down your bones with your dreams still buried beneath fear? Or will you live in a way that demands your story be told long after you have joined the ancestors? History does not remember the passive. It does not whisper the names of those who waited. It sings of those who moved, those who declared with their life that hesitation is a luxury for the lost. You were not born to be undecided. You were born to burn, to blaze like a comet across the sky of human potential, to shake the ground beneath the feet of doubt, to awaken others, not with your words, but with your living example. And make no mistake, the example you set matters more than you know. There is someone right now watching you, not judging, but hoping you will be the proof they need, hoping you will be the evidence that it is possible to break through the hard earth of limitation and bloom like fire in the snow. This is the hidden impact of dreaming vast and acting vaster. It is not just what you achieve, it is who you free in the process. Your courage becomes a key that unlocks cages. Your growth becomes a map for the lost. Your resilience becomes a warrior's cry for the weary. But first, you must become untouched by the sweet song of comfort. Comfort is the siren's call that lulls ambition to slumber. It whispers gentle lies that you have done enough, that rest is reward, that slowing down will not cost you. But behind comfort's voice is the quiet rustling of dreams dying too soon. Do not misunderstand. There is a time for rest, but not now. Not while the vision is still unbuilt. Not while your future still calls from the mountaintop, begging you to climb. Your life is a sacred negotiation between potential and resistance. And every day you choose which side your loyalty lies with. So let your loyalty lie with the future. The wild, unimaginable, terrifyingly beautiful future that awaits the version of you who chooses. The version of you who silences excuses like a chief silences a betrayer, who greets fear like an old rival and says, I have danced with worse, and I am still standing. The version who stops tiptoeing and begins to claim their space, who stops apologizing and begins to own the lodge. That is the version the world awaits to meet. And when you step into that version, fully, not halfway, not hesitantly, but fully, your energy shifts. Paths open, the right spirits appear, the right opportunities align. Not because of chance, but because you changed. You became the kind of person that success cannot ignore. The kind that does not just chase purpose, they become it. The kind that does not merely speak of discipline, they embody it. The kind that does not need motivation, because they have built a fire that fuels itself, and you build that fire, stone by stone. Every morning you awaken with clear intention. Every task you complete when no one sees. Every late night when your body cries for slumber, but your spirit demands just one more step, one more hour, one more page. That is where greatness lives. It does not live in the light of the crowd. It lives in the shadows, in the persistent effort, the ceaseless work, until one day the light finds you. And when it does, you will not be surprised, because you earned it, every drop of it. But until that moment, you will be tested. You will feel unseen. You will be tempted to give less, to aim smaller, to question why you began. That is when you must press forward, with double strength. That is when you remind yourself, You do not do this for applause. You do not do this to impress. You do this because you must, because it is in your bones, because it is who you are, because to not become everything you are capable of would be the greatest betrayal of all. And betrayal of self is a quiet death, one that slowly consumes, that numbs your fire and calls it peace, that tells you to be realistic until you forget what reality you were born to build. Remember, you were not meant to walk by the rules of limitation. You were meant to redefine what is possible, to stretch the boundaries of belief so wide that generations after you walk through doors they never knew could open. And how do you begin? You begin. You stop waiting for the path to be clear and you walk anyway. You stop needing certainty and you trust your intention. You stop measuring your progress by the praise of others and you build in silence. Because true builders do not need approval. They need stones, they need sweat, they need vision, and above all, they need resolve. That steel-spined, unbreakable, warrior-like resolve that says, I may fall, I may bleed, I may stumble 1,000 times, but I will not surrender. That is the voice the Great Spirit listens to. That is the kind of soul the world bows for. And one day, when they ask you how you did it, how you went from unseen to impactful, from overlooked to undeniably, will not speak of strategies. You will speak of deep knowing. You will speak of late nights and early mornings, of walking alone, of holding the vision when it was just you, a blank wall, and a fire in your chest. And you will smile, not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. Because you didn't just dream vast, you acted vaster. And now, you have become unstoppable. Gerarezumo de áudio.